Hello there, YouTube. Uh, as somebody who scours YouTube looking at other people's cook kits, I decided it would be nice maybe if I reciprocated and showed my own cook kit. It is, of course, highly personal to me and what I like to do. Most of the time, I am car camping or carrying a pretty heavy backpack a very short distance. So I'm not ultralight and I'm not super bushcrafty, so this is kind of what we got right here. First things first, I made the little holding bag myself. It is made from the pant legs of a old pair of denim jeans, and I sewed it myself, hand sewed it. Just too much effort to take out the sewing machine and everything. And then I just put some grommets at the top. The drawback of this is that that little line, that the shoelace that I have in there, sometimes gets in the way of getting everything out. Anyway, so this is the kit that you're looking at, or at least this is the kind of the basics of the cook kit. It all kind of nests together, and that's kind of on purpose. That's what I wanted to happen. As you can see, I also have like a washcloth with a scour pad side of it as part of the kit as well. And the lids to some of the things sit separately. So as we go over this, I'll kind of point out what's in the cook kit. First thing is the Stanley cook kit pot. I replaced the top little handle on the lid that was plastic. We'll get a good look at it here pretty soon, the original one, but I put a stainless steel key ring in the top. I also have various cups inside of the Stanley cook kit, and we'll kind of go over what those mean as well. So first things first is this lid is from a kids cookware kit at IKEA. And I have little pots and pans that came with the kit, but what I really found helpful was this lid. This lid seemed to fit the pot that I have, the main pot that I boil water in. And so I keep that lid around. The Stanley Cook Kit lid actually fits the kind of knockoff Walmart $5 GSI mug, the one with the folding handles. It fits that mug, so that's kind of a multi-useful, pretty multi-useful thing. So this is just a double wall coffee tumbler. I think it's like the Ozark Trail brand from Walmart. It has a little plastic lid. I like this. I like it because it doesn't have a handle, so it allows it to nest into things. And it's double walled, so I can hold it in my hand. It doesn't get super hot, and the lid keeps everything cool. And it comes in pretty handy, especially in the mornings when I need coffee a lot. So this pot right here, I think it's called Grundtal from IKEA, and it originally came, see, with that little plate with all the little holes in it. This is like a drainer. It's like a utensil drainer, and I'm not going to put that plate in because it's filthy, but it came in this original pot when I got it, and it has this little like hook that and it's part of a wall system that you can hang on the wall in kitchens and stuff. Anyway, I took the plate out of this pot and just kept the pot. I'd probably throw away this little hook holder thing. I thought I'd use it like a bail for a long time, but then I actually ended up putting a bail on this pot, so I don't even need that thing. This is an IKEA utensil tin that I'm using as my stove. Anyway, I put the bail on myself. I drilled holes in the side of this pot. What I'm very pleased about with this particular experiment is that the bail is freestanding. It doesn't fall to one side or the other. And it took me a little bit to figure out how to actually do that, what the tension needed to be, so that it would sit where it needed to sit. And that way it can put it up and upright and then pull the pot off of a fire if I need to and not burn my hands. Anyway, as I said, I cut the hole in the IKEA Hobo stove, as they call them, this utensil tin, and I also took this plate and drilled some holes for a little bit extra airflow. Incidentally, I put the hole in the IKEA utensil tin about halfway up. I've seen it at the very bottom, and I've seen it a lot smaller, but I wanted to feed sticks in, and I didn't want the ashes to build up so much at the bottom that you couldn't get more sticks in. So there's a little bit of room at the bottom that ashes can build up and soot can build up at the bottom, and charcoals basically can be there down there. That little plate at the bottom, that kind of keeps the airflow a little bit more, and it keeps his ashes a little bit further from the ground, so it's kind of handy, and it just kind of lives down there in that IKEA Hobo stove. So in my kit, on the inside I have elastic straps in the inside of that little bag, and then I have this little aluminum cross brace that I made with a Dremel. It is very handy to have with this IKEA Hobo stove. I know sometimes people just use tent stakes, and I do too, and we'll see that in a second, but this cross brace is really, really handy, especially with the Stanley Cup. A lot of the cups that I use, including this kind of GSI knockoff right here from Walmart, the diameter of those pots are smaller than the opening at the top of the utensil can. So the cross brace is pretty good. It also lifts it up enough that the flames can kind of encircle the pots. And there's another look at the lid of the Stanley cook pot right there that I replaced with that little it's like a stainless steel keychain kind of thing. I like that lid has a strainer, by the way. That's pretty useful. Anyway, that main pot, that Grundatal pot, that's the one I use the most on top of this IKEA Hobo stove, and the one that kind of nests down inside of it. This IKEA Hobo stove, I gotta tell you, is very fun to use. I have these little pair of tongs that I use to control the fire and to pick up the whole stove if I need to. It's like having a campfire in a can. I really can't. I'm so happy with this kind of homemade IKEA Hobo stove. I can't even tell you. It's just really nice to have, especially when you don't want to make a huge fire on its own. Anyway, here's a look at the tent pegs stuck across, and I have a little cat food can. I think this is a tuna can alcohol stove, actually. I use this sometimes. I'm just now starting to kind of use this in the mornings when I don't want to fill the whole hobo stove up with wood and get that whole thing going. The alcohol stove is much faster. I might eventually get a Trangia instead of the tuna can, but for now it's working out pretty well. Those tent stakes work out also if I just want to put that pot on top. If I don't have the cross braces with me, or if something happens, it's like a nice backup. Anyway, everything kind of folds down. What I particularly like about the Stanley Cook Kit and this little GSI knockoff is that they kind of work together. I tried this out when I actually went to the store before I bought it. I'd seen a lot of YouTube videos about how people had used this Stanley Cook Kit, and I of course wanted to try it. Ironically, I don't use it that much. There's several things about it that I really like in theory, but as in a lot of times when you buy equipment, you buy it because you think you're going to use it in a certain way, and you don't end up using it that much in that way. For instance, on the inside of this pot, it has the measurements marked, and that's really handy, especially on the inside of it. That's really good about the Stanley Cook Cup right there. But I find that I don't use the Stanley Cook Cup that much. Of all the parts of this kit, it's kind of redundant for the other things I already have. Anyway, when I went to the store, I'd seen this on YouTube videos before with other people, but I made sure just to check that the cook kit fit inside of this other smaller mug. I think it's Ozark Trail as well. I don't know what that is, that cup. It's a pretty handy little cup. The handles that come out don't stick that close to the. After a while, you use it enough, they don't stick that close when they curl around the cup. But it's nice that the Stanley Cook Kit kind of fits right down in it really nicely. Anyway, the coffee tumbler and then that unbreakable cup, they both fit down inside that Stanley cup. The unbreakable cup, by the way, that little plastic tumbler, That's for drinking whiskey. I just like how it looks and feels. I don't like to drink my whiskey out of a coffee cup or a stainless steel mug. I'm not a barbarian. And I must have whiskey. If I'm going out, especially if it's cold outside, to camp, there's going to be whiskey. So anyway, I directed a play a couple of years ago, and that cup was part of the set. Because you don't want to put glass stuff on a theater set, because if it falls on the floor and breaks, you have glass everywhere for the remainder of the play for that night. So you use plastic dishware and stuff. So I kept that cup, and it's proven to be handy. Anyway, as you can see, everything nests back together, and all the little accoutrements that come with it, the tent stakes and the little aluminum cross braces and everything, they fit back in. I just tucked the lids back together in this washcloth kind of thing that I have. It's pretty handy actually, and tuck it back in the top and seal it back up. It's not super light, but it's not super heavy either, and I can take parts of it out. In fact, I'll probably take the Stanley Cook Cup out in the next generation of this. But for now, this is my cook kit, and it's working really well for me. I hope whatever you have works well for you as well. Thanks for watching.